it's Peter here. I'm the CEO and founder of SailPro. Hey, thanks for downloading and installing SailPro. If you're looking at this video, you probably just installed it and signed up for a SailPro account, and that's fantastic. It's super appreciated. So listen, in this video, I'm going to run through as quickly as I can all of the features that exist inside SailPro. So please take the time to go through it. I'm not going to cover everything in depth because that would just take way too long. SailPro is packed full of features. There's something in it for every yachty, whether you're a dinghy sailor, you're a sailing one design, you're offshore racing, you're foiling or kiting. It doesn't really matter what you sail. There's something in SailPro for you. So yeah, so let's just jump into SailPro and have a look at all of the features here, and hopefully that will get you kicked off and up and running as quickly as possible with SailPro. So SailPro is more than just an app. Actually, it's what we call a platform. So there's multiple components that exist inside SailPro that basically give you the features and the functionality that it provides, okay? So what I'm going to do is very quickly just cover these so that you get an understanding. So of course we've got our app, right? This is our mobile app. You can download it for free from either the Google Play or Apple App Store, which you probably already have. And it's here that you do a lot of the things within inside SailPro, and I'm going to run through those. But in addition to SailPro, it also has some what we call back-end functionality, okay? So if I just move the app out of the way, firstly, we've got SailPro XP, and SailPro XP is a little bit like, if you've heard of the app called Strava, what it does is that if you do any sort of training, or you are in a race and you're using SailPro, what you can do is you can send information, your history, your course, your track, all that type of information. You can send that back to SailPro, and SailPro records that, and then every time you do, it logs it here, and it logs points against your name. Okay, you can see that we don't list the person's full name, we just list their first name, last name, and then you can see here all of their tracking or their history, okay? And so you can see that here. So if you go training, or you're going for a race and you're using the functionality inside SailPro to record that, you can upload that to here, and then you can earn points. But also, in addition, SailPro XP has your own dashboard, and it's here where you can see all of your own races, okay? So you can see, here's a race, here's another race. You can see how many points you've got. You can see your speed, trend, and then you can open them up and you can actually see the actual track that you took here. Of course, this is just me testing on the land, and then you can see the speed over ground, course over ground, all that type of stuff. You can sort of see here, and then you can see things like the duration, the distance, the number of tacks that you did, and all of that sort of stuff here. So that's part inside your boat, okay? All of the races that apply to your boat. And then you can also go to your boats, and these are all of my boats here. You can have multiple boats, and you can see here are all of my boats. And then what I can do is open those boats. And then what I can do is things like create a boat polar, and you can do that from the app, and I'll just talk through that really quickly because, again, that's a very detailed video just in itself. But you can also record your boat setups. You can have different setups, so a light wind setup, a medium wind setup, heavy air, whatever you want to do. And you can log all that information here, take some photos, put your sail inventory in, and then you can see all of that in the app, and I'll show you that in a second. The other tool that we've got is SailPro BoatHub, and this is where you actually create all of your boats and your profile. So this keeps your SailPro account, if you like. So it's all kind of here, and then underneath here is where you actually create your boats. You can do that from within here, or you can do it within inside the app, and again, I'm going to walk through that. And then the next main feature that we've got from a back-end component is what we call RaceHub. A RaceHub is a live race tracking tool. And so what you can do with this is you can create a race. That'll give you a token. You can share that token with anyone that's got a free SailPro account, and app on their phone, they can enter that token and they can join the race, and then they can track the race live and share it live with the world. Okay, so that's what we call RaceHub. Now, again, there's a lot more to this. We also have another system called Race Control that's for yacht clubs to be able to create these races easily. So if you are, you've got any influence on your yacht club and you guys have been looking for a live race tracking tool that's very, very cost effective, then check out RaceHub, and you'll see those links in the video, in the comment, in the description below. But you can reach out and contact us, and we can talk to you about how you can get set up to create races as a SailPro Yacht Club. All right, so they're kind of the three major back-end pieces that we've got, and they all work in conjunction with the app, which I'm now going to dive into a bit more detail. On to the next feature. I want to talk about two things. One is that, obviously using race mode, which is basically a full-on tactical sailing computer, might seem for some people a little bit complicated and not necessary. It depends on what type of sailing that you're doing. But if you wanted to just record a very quick session, just to get your points up inside SailPro XP, or just record what you're doing over time, if you're just in the home screen, all you need to do is come here to this little plus button and click Quick Session, and then just click Start Recording. And what that will do is basically do the same thing. You don't have to go into race mode or any of that sort of stuff. When you finish the session, just click Stop, and then you can upload that to XP. All right, so that's a very quick way to do it. And then just to talk a little bit about XP in the background of what's happening. So once you've recorded any sessions, you can then come to SailPro XP, and you can log in using your SailPro account. And then you'll come to the global leaderboard, and here you'll see all of the all of the analytics of all SailPro races across the globe. But then you can filter those by the date, by the sailing class. So you can see here, you can filter by the Laser 6s or the Melgels 24s, and then also by the country. Click Apply, and then you'll see it will filter by only those races here that offer that type of filter. All right, so then you can compare yourself and see how you stack up as far as the global sailors in your class goes. But then also, in addition, you can go to my dashboard, and now you can see all of your races here. So you can see here's your speed curve, here's your recent races, and then here are your boats. Okay, so you can actually select any of these boats, and then you can do things like create a boat polar, or you can configure your boat settings here and save multiple boat settings, upload images. Some of this stuff I've already gone over, but this is where all this information sort of comes to and from. So that's SailPro XP and how it works with SailPro, the app. All right, and we'll probably talk a little bit about more in this video. But for now, let's just stop there, and then we'll go into the next section, which is live race tracking. Next feature that I quickly want to cover as quickly as possible is live race tracking. Okay, and obviously you can access that by clicking the live race tracking tool here. What we'll do is we'll just end that race there. But basically what happens here is that if we go back into the home screen, we call this RaceHub. And here, yacht clubs can create races, and then what that will do is create a token. They share that with SailPro users, and SailPro users use that to enter the token here, and then we'll be able to find a race and then join a race, okay? And so you can actually create races too from within inside here if you want, but you can also, so if you want to create a quick race for you and your friends, you can do that by clicking the create race button here, or you can join a race here. And then once you've actually joined the race, you can then start using SailPro here to transmit your actual device location and that of all your other people that are competing with you, and then we can show that on a map. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just bring up that map and show you. Once you are live tracking from your device into into RaceHub, then this is what's basically happening. So we're taking latitude, longitude, boat speed, course over ground, and other information from your device, and we're sending it back to the RaceHub servers, and then we're putting all of the people that are entered into that race into this server here, and you can actually see live how the race unfolds. So you can see here on the left hand side we've got all the boats here. You can hide ones, you can search for them. If you've got heaps, you can change the playback speed, you know, from slow to really fast. We'll just put that back down to 1. And then you can see all the boats moving here as well. And then you can also see the analytics. So if I click statistics here, you can see who started at what time. This is just about to be released. We are just about to release, and in fact, we've released that already, the ability to set up courses inside here, but also we're about to release the ability to be able to time how long people take in the race. So who started at what time, and when they finished the distance they traveled to, you can calculate who came first, who came second, and so on. All right, so that's sort of all in there. And then with this URL here, anyone with that link can actually watch this race unfold. So if you create a race with your buddies using SailPro, the app, and then you do it, you can share that link with anybody and they can review the race later on. So you could use it for training and coaching purposes. You could use it just to share with your friends and family. You know, I'm going for a sail. Here's my link. You can watch me. In addition, we can put advertising and stuff inside the actual race viewer itself. So for a yacht club, it's got a lot of benefits. So if you're involved with the yacht club and you're watching this, then reach out to us and we'll show you how you can use this as a yacht club. There's another software program altogether for the yacht clubs to make it easy for them to be able to create and manage live race tracking. And then what's important to remember is that to join any of these races requires a free SailPro account. So there's no cost to it. So it's a really cost-effective way to introduce live race tracking into your yacht club. Anyway, all right, so that's live race tracking with RaceHub. Let's now jump into the next section, which is BoatHub. All right, so here's an example of a RaceHub race, okay? And so you can see here, I've got all the boats on the left-hand side and I can control the settings. I can also see their statistics, such as what time. We're just about to release this, so you'll be able to see who started at what time, when they finished their average current boat speed, average boat speed, min, max boat speed, the distance they've sailed, all that type of analytical information. And then you'll be able to watch it here on a live map, okay? And so you can see here that here's the boat sailing along here. This is all playing back at 8 times. You can slow that down if you like to 1 time. And so you can actually then, with this URL, you can play that back. So anyone with this URL can watch the race live. So if you create a quick race with you and your friend, you can share that with anybody and they can see the race. But if you're a yacht club, you can have this playing on a monitor in the bar. You can use it later to help with coaching and training, but it's a unique and neat way to able to do yacht racing tracking. And also, if I just bring back up the app here, oh my God, where is it? Where? Oh, no, that's right. Where's Visor gone? Fed income! You can see that all you need is SailPro, and in fact to join a SailPro race is free. So if you get asked to enter a SailPro race, it's not going to cost you anything. All right, so really great way to be able to introduce this into your yacht club and your coaching and training, your own training. You can use this tool. All right, so that's RaceHub. Of this quick introduction to SailPro, I'd like to talk about BoatHub and what is BoatHub and how do you use it in your day-to-day boating life. Well, BoatHub basically is a boat management system. So in here, It's a bit like, say, Google Docs, but specifically designed for boating and yachting type of management. Okay, so to access it is quite simple. All you need to do is click the BoatHub icon, and then if you're asked to, then obviously enter or sign up for your SailPro account. So I'm just going to pause here and log in now. Okay, so you can tell that we're logged in here. You can see at the top I've got account signed in, and then all I need to do is click on BoatHub, and then I'm inside BoatHub. Okay, so the first thing to know about BoatHub is that you can create multiple boats. You know, I mean, most yachties, sailors, boaties, you've got multiple boats. You might have your race boat, you might have a cruising boat, you might have a dinghy, or you might be a windsurfer and you've got multiple boards, multiple kite boards, or you might have, a laser and a Hobie cat or something like that, right? So you can actually store multiple boats here. And you can see I've got those under here under my boats. And so to add a boat is really quite simple. You just click the add boat. You fill out the basic detail. You see there's some mandatory fields, which are the boat name, class, type, and then the location. But then all of the other information underneath that is not mandatory. Okay, so you've got your beam, your height, and so on and so forth. So registration details, hull number, the builder, the purchase cost, and then you can upload images as well of the boat. All right, so and then documents as well, flag, MMSI number, and so on and so forth. So there's a ton of information that you can store there. And if you keep moving down, you can add your engine details if you've got an engine. And then underneath that, you can add your insurance details. Okay, so you can see the idea of this is to store as much of your information that you need about your boat here inside BoatHub. And so if I jump back, I'm not going to save that one. If I jump back into this boat here, then you can see that I've got all of my boat information here. All right. And then if I go back to the top, what I can do is I can also log different types of information, such as maintenance tasks. I can log inventory items. I can log trips, or a trip log. So like you would do on a paper trip log, you can do that in here. And also my crew. All right, so crew maintenance I didn't show there, so you can list all your maintenance jobs here. So you can, if you've got a job to do on the boat, you can do it. You can take a photo of it. You can list it here, and then it reminds you. So you go to the yacht chandlery and you need to buy stuff. You've got all that information in your fingertips. All right. And so you can add all of that there, documentation and so forth. And then what's happening is when you do that, that is then syncing to the back end of BoatHub, which is at web.sailpro.app, and you log into this using your the same SailPro account, and then here you can see those boats. Okay, so you can see here's that boat I've been working on, and then here's all the details for it. All the engine details, which are the same as what's on the app. They sync together. And then underneath that, I've got all of my inventory items, trip log, crew list, and maintenance tasks. So, sometimes working on a mobile phone is a little bit small. The real estate of it, the screen size is not great. It's not so big. So you can sort of quickly do that here. And then you can come in here and then edit those records. So whether it be edit the inventory, you could add inventory items here if you want, or you could edit the maintenance tasks and so on and so forth. Okay. And so when you make updates to here, that will then show back out on the app. All right. So when you go to, say, a regatta and you need your boat registration, you need your insurance detail, you need your crew list, ages, all that sort of information, you've got it right here at your fingertips. Okay. So that's BoatHub. Now, the other thing that BoatHub can do is you'll notice it's got this little sync to XP toggle here. And what that does is that if you take a boat, so for example, this one here, and you tick that, what will happen is that will then register this boat in XP. And I've spoken about XP a little bit. It's sort of a similar but slightly different platform. It's where you register all your racing activity, all your boat setup and that type of thing. Okay, so if I sync here and then I jump into XP and I go to my boats, then where is that boat? Here's that boat here, okay? And so now that boat exists inside BoatHub, but it also exists inside SailPro XP, all right? So in SailPro XP, you could be doing a boat polar for it. You could be putting all the boat setup details in here, some images for your setups, your sail inventory, all that sort of stuff. So SailPro XP is more about your racing side or your training side of your boat, you know, making sure that your boat's set up correctly, you're logging all your race history, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously you're using that to compare yourself to other people in similar classes or the same class, okay? So that's basically how all that ties together. So, yeah, let's just bring the app back up. So you can see very quickly, you've got all that information there. You can go back, you can save the changes here, and then you'll notice you've got all of these boats here that are under there. Okay, you don't have to sync every one of these to SailPro XP. So if you're going to register your dinghy here, you don't want that in SailPro XP. You don't have to sync it there. You know, you might have a paddleboard. You might sort of, you might register everything about your boating life. It doesn't have to just be your race boats. It could be your cruising boat. It could be your motorboat. It could be a fishing boat. It doesn't really matter. Paddleboard. You can register all that information here because even if you're paddleboarding, you do need insurance. So having all that stuff at your fingertips is really helpful. And that's really what BoatHub is designed to do. So with that, we'll finish there and then we'll come back into the next section, which is boat setup. This is a new feature and it's really very cool. So for those serious yachties out there that want to get the maximum performance out of their race boat, this is for you. All right, see you soon. Okay, so in the next topic I want to talk about is boat setup. Now, there's two ways that you can get to boat setup. You can go to boat setup with inside BoatHub. So if I click BoatHub and then I select a boat here, I can then select boat setup and polar pass from here. Or if you want to, you can actually go from the home screen straight into boat setup. And from here, you can select your boat, all right? So I'm going to select that Reef Knot 2 boat here, and then I've got my setup details here. So let me just talk about what is boat setup. Well, boat setup is, as the name suggests, a way for you to record and track and analyze your different boat setups. So typically in a boat, you know, you're going to have a different boat setup for light air, medium air, heavy air, different setup for wave states, that type of thing. And this is what boat setup is designed to do, to help you capture your different boat setup settings and then log those inside SailPro so that you can recall them later on when you need them really quickly, okay? And so let me just run through quickly what it is. So you can see here that in this boat setup, you can create different setups. So you can see in this example here, I've got a base, which is 0 to 5 knots. And then I can do a new setup there. I can add in, excuse those images, they're just test images. I can add in setup images. And then I can enter all of my boat setup details, such as my rig details, forestay length, backstay length. And you can actually change these in here. So you could have that as 900 inches and change that into millimeters or whatever the appropriate units is for you for that type of setting, okay? Mast rake, pre-bend, all of that type of rigging information you can put into here. And then you can set up your sail trim. So, you know, how much Cunningham you had on, the jib halyard tension, all of that type of information, vang and so on. And then we've got what we call custom fields that you can enter into here. So if you're using, you know, different terminology or you want to save some certain piece of information for that setup, you can do that here. And then what you can do is select the sails that are appropriate or that you're using in that setup, okay? So then once you've done that and you've uploaded any images, you just need to click the save button. And then what that does is that will then save all that information back into here. Okay, so now you can see if I make those changes, if I just refresh here and I go back into my dashboard, boats, open here, and then you can see I've made that change there. So the change that I made on the app now gets reflected back in here, okay, plus any images that I've uploaded, the sail selections. All right, so just to talk a little bit about here, in the back end of XP, again, log into XP using your existing SailPro account. You can create your sail inventory here and then see all your different setups. All right, so that's kind of like the back end. Now, one of the really cool features that I haven't spoken about is what SailPro Boat Setup can do is it can create boat polars for you. Now, if you don't know what a boat polar is, basically it's a way of you mapping your boat speed versus true wind angle, okay? So you can see I've done one for this boat here and I can open that boat polar here. Now, look, that's a bit scattered because this is a test environment, but what it can do is tell you that for a 5 knot true wind speed and the upwind true wind angle, upwind average wind angle, and then downwind and true wind angle and downwind average wind angle here, and it can map that and show you where the highest performance is. Okay, so you can basically use this to see, right, if I'm sailing upwind in a true knot in a true wind speed of 5 knots, then this is the best angle that I should be sailing at, best average wind angle I should be sailing at, okay? And so the thing is though, how do you do that, right? You can add these in individually if you like. So if you already know them, you can do that. You can actually import from a spreadsheet, but you can also use the SailPro app to do that. And so if I bring the app back in, what I can do here is inside Boat Setup, I can go to Polar Pass and then I'll just save that. And I'll just go, and now I'm in Polar Pass, and now you can see I can do either an upwind or a downwind Polar Pass. So let's just say we're doing an upwind Polar Pass. I can set the true wind speed, let's say it's 20 knots, which we don't have for this boat, and the true wind direction is, let's just say it's 55. All right, and the sea state, probably with 20 knots, is going to have heavy chop. And then what I do is just click start here. And what this is going to do is it will guide you through a process of you getting the boat set up. So you can see what it's doing here. It's telling you to point the boat high, sail the boat high, and settle in. So sail slightly normally higher than you would. And then you'll see after a few seconds, right, it'll tell you to hold that, okay? And just sail high as much as you can for the next 38 seconds. And what it's doing is it's capturing your live boat speed plus your course over ground, comparing that to the true wind direction, working out what the true wind angle is, and then storing that, okay? And so what it will do is it will do this, then it will do a medium pass, so sail the boat medium, and then it will do a low pass, so sail the boat low. And it records all that information, and then it averages it, and then it uploads that into here, okay? So then you can see. So then you can go back, open up your polar chart and say, right, what's the best true wind angle or average wind angle I should be steering in 10 knots for this setup? So it's a really great way for you to be able to capture the performance of your boat, how the performance changes with your different rig and sail settings, and then visually view that. And so later on, when you're sailing, you can go, we should have this rig up, we should have these settings, Cunningham here, luff tension there, sailing at this direction to the this wind bearing from the true wind angle, and just sailing at your best, okay? So you can see what we've done here is we've kind of wrapped everything up into the app and into the back end. So you can perform the polar pass, you can save all that there, and then you can come back in here and view it, all right? So you might do a training day where you're out training, looking at different sail selections, and then recording this sort of stuff. So instead of, like most boats, what they'll do is they'll write this down, or they might actually do this in a spreadsheet or what have you. You can do that in here and you can visualize it very quickly, and then you'll be able to recall on it. So one of the directions for us for SailPro is to then be able to take this information and then feed that back to you live. Okay, so that's where SailPro is sort of going. We are working on the ability to be able to connect SailPro into your onboard instrumentation, so that a lot of this sort of, entering in the true wind direction and this sort of thing, or the boat speed, can be done from your own instrumentation. And so that'll just improve the accuracy even more. But from a course over ground and speed over ground, then your GPS on your iPhone or Android is more than capable of performing this, because we're averaging it out over time, and most of it's sort of at location accuracy of less than 5 meters. So when we're taking points over time, then we average all of that out, and you'll find it incredibly accurate. So there you go. You can see this one's finished. So you can see we've got a 20 knot wind wind pass here, and we've got the results. It's all 0, right, because we're not moving. And then you just save that to XP. We haven't measured enough data. So if the data's there, we save that to XP, and then that will appear here. And then when you open the polar chart, you'll see 20 knot polar here for upwind. And then you can do, so you've done your upwind, and so now you can go back and do your downwind pass. Okay, so it's basically the same thing, just sailing downwind. All right, so that's boat setup. You can see there's a lot in it. It's very exciting for us, because I think the direction for SailPro is heavily down this sort of area, where we basically want to help you capture your boat yachting racing data, upload it, and then in time be able to feed that back to you, potentially using AI to be able to help you make decisions better. But it depends on the type of boat that you're sailing, obviously. If you're sailing a dinghy, you're not going to be able to get this stuff back real time. Or you might, but it's going to be difficult. But definitely, if you're sailing a dinghy, you're a laser sailor or a wasp sailor, you can be doing this in your training. So go out, do a boat polar, and see how you sail, how high you are, sail high, medium, low, see where your boat speed is, basically in relation to different boat setup. So give it a go. And if you've got any feedback and you've got any sort of comments on what you think we should add here, more than willing to listen to those. So okay, so with that, let's go on to the next section. Talk about some of the other features that exist inside SailPro, and just run through those quickly. The next feature after boat setup is what we call Anchor Me, and Anchor Me, as the name suggests, is an anchor watch. You can basically set your alarm radius. So if you're anchoring your boat or you're mooring and you want to set an alarm if the boat or the anchor drags off the current location, you can do that here. So you can basically I'll just stop this one, and then I can set the alarm radius for whatever I like, click drop anchor, and then you'll see there I'm in the middle of the radius, and if the boat drifts outside of that, then it's going to sound that alarm. If I just jump back in, we've got another really cool feature that we call CrewTalk, and CrewTalk is basically a boat Zoom platform. So what it can do is basically create like a Zoom room, or what we call a CrewTalk room, and then other people with SailPro using CrewTalk can connect to that room, and it's going to create an open channel audio call between the two devices, and then users can connect their own headsets, Bluetooth, to their own devices and carry on a conversation. It doesn't need internet, and there's a bunch of features that enable, say, the host room, could be the helmsman or the tactician, to control the room. So they can block people, they can mute people, they can unmute themselves. And in addition, what they can do is stream the SailPro audio from SailPro race mode through CrewTalk. So as an example, if you've got a big boat, what you can do is use SailPro to set the countdown time at the start, and then you can play that back through CrewTalk. So you can set a countdown time, and then everybody's listening to the same countdown time through their Bluetooth headsets, as well as carry on communication. You can stream the speed over ground, course over ground, the early, late time. All of that information can be streamed from one device to the other CrewTalk devices, or SailPro CrewTalk devices. All right, so that's CrewTalk. And then if we move down a bit, we've got some other tools. We've got a weather tool, and basically it's a pretty simple weather tool, but it's pretty effective. What the idea of it is not to give long range forecast. It's really more about what the weather is going to be on a certain day. So if I'm going to be racing this Saturday at, let me see, at 12 o'clock, then what's the weather going to be doing? Okay, and so I can slide these right to that exact time, and then it will tell me what the weather's going to do. And then in addition, I can get it to tell me what the weather will do over the preceding, say, 4 hours. And then it will automatically calculate for you what that's going to do. So the breeze is going to build from this to this, or the wind's going to shift from here to there. So it gives you that snapshot of tactical weather data that you need over short course racing. So it's not really designed for a long haul racing. It's really just like, okay, short racing, we're starting at 10 o'clock, the breeze is going to do this, right? Which is typically what you sort of look for as a yachty. And it will also tell you what the tide data is for that given time, all right? We've got a flags database as well, so you can open up flags and get a list of all normal racing flags. We've got a direct link to the current racing rules of sailing that are published by World Sailing. And then we've also got access to our SailPro simulator. So if you click that, it'll take you to the racing simulator that you can use to understand concepts like start line bias, like wind shifts, this type of thing. That's basically it. So as you can see, quite a lot inside SailPro, both from the app perspective and the back-end perspective. The idea of it is that it becomes your main app that you use sailing. We really would appreciate any feedback, any issues that you've got with the app, any ideas that you have for the app that you would like seen put in there. More than happy to consider those. Got any questions at all, please do reach out to us at support@sailpro.app. And with that, I hope you really enjoy the app, get out sailing, and maybe one day hope to see you out on the water using SailPro. Thanks for watching.